Namaskar, Aspirants. Welcome back. Today, we're diving into a current affairs topic that is absolutely crucial for your upcoming attempts. We're looking at a massive, and I mean massive, leap in India's defense modernization. I want you to put on your strategist hats today as we decode the Indian Navy's MH-60R Seahawk helicopters. This explainer is packed with high-yield facts for your prelims, plus that deep analytical gold you need for a high-scoring mains answer in GS Papers 2 and 3. Chaliye, shuru karte hain. Here is our syllabus-aligned agenda for today's explainer. First, we'll look at the flying frigate transitions. Second, the 7,995 crore US deal. Third, the actual anatomy of the Seahawk. Fourth, its strategic significance in the Indian Ocean region. And finally, how it elevates US-India defense ties. All right, moving right into Section 1, the Flying Frigate Transitions, marking a totally new era for Indian naval aviation. So, you might be wondering, why exactly is the Indian Navy retiring its legendary Sea King 42B helicopters? You know, the iconic flying frigates. For over 40 years, these machines were literally the eyes of our fleet over the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. They were absolute legends. But we have to remember, they were built for a Cold War world. The maritime battle space of 2026 is, frankly, vastly different, and a major upgrade was long overdue. When we compare the two, Zameen Asman ka fark hai. It's a night and day difference. The legacy Sea King was built on analog tech, mainly to extend the reach of just one single ship. But today, right now, threats are way stealthier, submarines are diving deeper, and drones are literally everywhere. Enter the MH-60R Seahawk. Guys, this isn't just a simple replacement, it is a complete paradigm shift. We're talking about a digital-era, networked hunter that connects entire fleets across the vast expanse of the Indo-Pacific, sharing complex data in real time. Okay, let's jump into Section 2, the 7,995 crore US deal. Time for some hard facts for your UPSC prelims. Aspirants, ध्यान दीजिए. Please note this number very carefully. 7,995 crore. Now here is the classic UPSC trap for prelims. You need to know that this November 2025 deal is actually not for buying the helicopters. That initial purchase, that happened back in 2020. This new contract is purely a sustainment and support package for 24 Seahawks under the US Foreign Military Sales Program. It's all about ensuring they are 100% mission ready at all times. Because, while acquiring a platform brings the capability on paper, sustainment is what actually dictates if you can project that power at sea. What really stands out to me here is the incredibly rapid operationalization timeline. I mean, look at this. The first induction was in 2021. Fast forward to March 2024, and the NS-334 squadron is commissioned in Kochi. Then, November 2025 brings this massive sustainment package. And immediately following that, in December 2025, the NS-335's Osprey squadron gets commissioned in Goa. This speed of deployment on our western seaboard, it is a huge success story for our defense modernization. Now let's get into Section 3, Anatomy of the Seahawk, breaking down its technical specifications and capabilities for GS Paper 3. So what is its primary mission? It's anti-submarine warfare, or ASW. To put it simply, ASW is the strategic capability to detect, track, and ultimately destroy hostile submarines long before they can threaten our fleet. The Seahawk, which is affectionately known as the Romeo in naval circles, is an absolute master at both deep and shallow water ASW. This is, without a doubt, its ultimate operational edge. This platform packs an incredibly formidable suite of sensors and weapons. To sense underwater threats, it drops dipping sonar and sonobuoys right into the ocean to listen for enemy subs. Above the water, it uses a highly advanced multi-mode maritime radar to instantly lock on to surface targets. And when it is time to strike, oh boy, it can drop Mk-54 lightweight torpedoes to neutralize fast, deep-diving submarines or fire AGM-114 Hellfire missiles at hostile surface targets. It is quite literally an entire warship condensed into a single helicopter. Moving on to Section 4, Strategic Significance in the Indian Ocean region. This is your analytical focus for GS Paper 3. So, how does this actually build our layered maritime security architecture? Well, point 1, it massively boosts India's blue water navy ambitions, especially when deployed from our aircraft carriers like INS Vikramaditya and INS Vikrant.
Point 2, and this is crucial, it acts as a direct counter to the rapidly expanding Chinese submarine presence that's stretching all the way from Djibouti to the Malacca Straits. Point 3, it gives us persistent maritime domain awareness over our vital sea lines of communication. And finally, Point 4, it guarantees a rapid, lethal response to piracy and asymmetric gray zone threats.
Now I want you to write this exact phrase down for your mains essays. Data, not just distance, determines battlefield advantage in modern naval warfare. The Seahawk isn't just a weapons platform, okay? It is a highly advanced information node. Modern naval commanders, they don't just ask where the enemy is anymore, they ask who can find, classify, track, and share that target data first. This network-centric capability, it provides India with absolute information dominance. Let's shift gears to Section 5, Elevating U.S.-India Defense Ties, focusing on the bilateral impact for GS Paper 2. This strategic relationship has been built in very deliberate steps. Step 1 was getting the platforms via the U.S. foreign military sales route. Step 2 is this new 7,995 crore sustainment pact, ensuring long-term readiness. But Step 3? Step 3 is the absolute magic word for your mains answer: interoperability. Because India now flies the exact same Romeo helicopters as the US, Japan, and Australia, our crews can operate completely seamlessly within the Quad framework. Think about joint exercises like Malabar and RIMPAC. We can now share critical maritime domain awareness data instantly with our partners. That is a total game changer. And to really underline the operational success of this platform, we don't have to look any further than the leadership of our own armed forces. Former Indian Navy Chief Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi recently noted that during Operation Sindoor, the MH-60R helicopters, quote, did what they were supposed to do. He called it a very potent platform, well proven. Listen, when your top military leadership publicly validates a platform's real-world operational efficacy like that, it completely confirms that this massive strategic investment is already yielding real, tangible security dividends. As we wrap up today's explainer, I want you to remember this key takeaway. The MH-60R definitively reinforces India's role as a net security provider in the Indian Ocean region. You see, a modern stealth warship without an effective long-range helicopter, it's basically fighting with one hand tied behind its back. But by deploying these digital hunters across our aircraft carriers and destroyers, India ensures that our strategic sea lanes and undersea networks are vigorously, forcefully protected. I want to leave you with this slightly provocative thought to chew on. With this highly networked digital hunter now actively patrolling our skies, how will this shift the undersea balance of power in the Indo-Pacific over the next decade? Take some time to think about that from the perspective of both our adversaries and our strategic allies. Keep analyzing, keep studying hard, and I will see you in the next explainer. Jai Hind.